Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at theDove.us. Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. Well, I am really excited to talk to our special guest today, Jimmy Seibert. He is a senior pastor of the Antioch Community Church in Waco, Texas. He's also the author of Passion and Purpose, Believing the Church Can Still Change the World. And this is a powerful book. There's a picture of it there on the screen. You may want to get a copy of it. Forward by Max Lucado and put out by Clear Day Publishing. And let me encourage you to check it out at the bookstores, either at the Christian Discount Books in Jacksonville. Of course, we have Evangel in the Mall, or online at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Jimmy, nice to have you with us. Good morning, my friend.
Morning, Perry. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is exciting. Congratulations on the book, by the way. Doing extremely well. Listen, this is a very profound statement here. What do you want people to get from this book? What are you trying to say here?
Well, we have a motto that we've carried for the last 20 years that simply goes like this. We want to be a people who have a passion for Jesus and his purposes in the earth. I often say on a Sunday, whether you're with us one day or the rest of your life, our hope is that you fall more in love with Jesus and fall in love with his purposes to see the world changed. So it's the same thing with the book. Passion and purpose. May people fall more in love with Jesus and get more in touch with God's plan for their life.
A lot of books are written from personal experience, so what happened to you?
The way I say it is when I was in college, I fell in love with Jesus. He became really real. Actually, how it happened was I had a little crisis in my life, and I decided to find out who God was. And I started the book of Matthew and read one chapter a day and said, whatever Jesus says to do, I'm going to do, and whatever he did, I'm going to do. Well, I don't know if you've read the Gospels lately, but after about 6 days, I'd given away just about everything I had and forgiven everybody I hadn't planned on forgiving. And so Jesus changed my life through his simple words and then began to live that out.
Now, that's kind of what Antioch's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, people have asked at times what's unique about Antioch, and I don't know necessarily there's anything that unique other than we just try to simply follow the words of Jesus and do it. And when a lot of people do that, actually when several thousand people do that around the world, you begin to see some great fruit. So
have you always been, you always felt led to be a pastor?
Yeah, well, not at all. Actually, I didn't grow up knowing the Lord. I came to the Lord right before college, and I still laugh when I get letters in the mail or someone introduces me as reverend or pastor. You know, I just fell in love with Jesus and started following him, and that led me on crazy adventure to the jungles of Papua New Guinea, to the streets of the inner cities, I just decided, okay, I'm going to be a follower of Jesus, and if that ends up being a pastor, well, so be it.
All right. So how did it emerge from this little group of people in Waco to an international movement?
Well, what we did was I actually was on staff at another church, and we started a missions training school with kind of 5 basic elements. What if people really prayed, not just talked about it? What if people really read the Bible and then obeyed it? What if people really evangelized daily, discipled people, and lived in a servant-based community? We said, I bet if we could get a small group of people to do that, we could somehow be a part of changing the world. So that's what we started with in 1987. We began planting churches overseas in 1991, and we didn't plant a U.S. church until 1999, which was Antioch Community Church. By the time we started the church, we already had 10 churches reaching the unreached around the world. So it started with simple basic values, a kind of a tight community of people that wanted to make disciples, and that ended up becoming a church which now is in 80 different locations in 24 different countries.
Max Lucado says visiting your church is like walking through the book of Acts.
Well, he is kind. I wouldn't say that day in and day out, but we love Max, and we're so thankful for his friendship and input into our lives.
The subtitle of your book Jimmy, says a lot. Believing the church can still change the world. Is that somewhat of an admission we have failed?
Yeah, I'll just speak for a moment about America. There are so many believers, people who have trusted in Christ to forgive their sins, but I find that in my own life and so many others, there's so little application or the living out of it. God's plan A is that the church come alive in every sphere of society, in every city of our nation. And when that happens, we can see real change. It's not the world that's the problem right now. It's the church not being the church, literally living out the basic tenets of our faith in a very practical and meaningful way day by day. If we would get a hold of that, I believe with all my heart, we can not only see America change, but we can see the world reached for Jesus.
Are you seeing miracles in your church?
Yeah, we are. We consistently see God do all kinds of stuff. We at the end of every service, we're always praying for people's needs, whether it's emotionally or mentally or physically. I don't know if there's a week that goes by that someone doesn't experience a physical healing and definitely a heart restoration to Jesus. But what I always say is when it comes to the power of God and the move of God, I always center us back on this. If we will love Jesus and live like Jesus, you can't stay away from the miraculous works of God.
Oh, that's so true. I find this so interesting, Jimmy, because most people will have a big church and then they go out and start other churches or go into the mission field. You went into the mission field and then came back and started the church. So you obviously have a missionary heart.
Yeah, we did everything backwards. And actually, I'm so thankful that that's the way it happened. Our first church plant was in Ulan-Ude, southern Siberia, right after the wall came down in the early 90s. And what that did for us was that it helped us think of church this way. How do we do church in America in such a way that it's reproducible anywhere in the world? Because our goal was Matthew 24:14. This gospel, the kingdom shall be preached as a testimony to all the world, and then the end shall come. And our whole passion and focus is how do we reach those who've never heard? And then when you get back to America, then it is, okay, so then how do we do a church in such a way that it's reproducible? So our missions heart really has driven what we've done here in America and around the world.
You talk about a revival from the inside out. And boy, that just says so much. That's telling me that we need somewhat of an awakening within the American church.
Yeah, I often say it this way. We're all looking for revival. Where is it happening? Oh, I pray that it would come. But revival really is just a prayer away. If I get my heart right with God, if I clean up the mess of my life, make restitution for the things that I've hurt and broken in other people's lives, if I would just clean up my own life, there would be revival in my own life. And when there's revival in my life, then people are hungry for that same kind of life. Revival is literally one prayer away and one person or a group of people getting serious about their walk with Jesus. God's hand is not wanting to hold back. God is wanting to pour out His power, His blessing, and His authenticity and clarity in our lives. We just have to come and get honest and get serious about walking with Jesus.
Jimmy, we get a lot of responses to the programming here at the Dove Radio and TV, and they kind of boil down to two categories, basically two questions. What is truth, and who can I trust? And it seems to me that those two questions produces the church's golden hour. You think we can meet the challenge?
Yeah. Again, it is not God that is holding back. It is not God that doesn't. It's us actually stepping over that line with full abandon and surrendered resolve. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through Him. Sooner or later, we have to decide that He is the truth in all things. And once that actual clarity point is in our own hearts, then we start absorbing and living in every way possible to walk in the fullness of that truth. And, so my big challenge to folks is this. Don't just look from the outside. Dive in with all your heart, because it is the only hope for not only our lives, but for our nation.
Well, folks, the book is called Passion and Purpose by Jimmy Seibert, Believing the Church Can Still Change the World. There's a picture of it on the screen. Let me encourage you to get a copy of this. And you know, pastors, I think you may want to get a copy of this and read it as well. It's very encouraging. Jimmy, and people who want to learn more about Antioch International, what do they do?
Well, all they have to do is go to our website, antiochcc.com, and there is all the information about our movement, our churches in the U.S., our work around the world. They can just connect there, and then from there, we're available to talk. Again, our heart is if there are men and women out there who don't have a tribe, don't have a people to walk with, who have a passion for the nations of the world and for our nation, we want to get connected with them, help equip and empower them to be a part of God's plan for our nation and the nations of the world, that Jesus might be glorified and people might be helped.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate your time. Let's stay in touch, and congratulations, and best to you. You got something else in the making here?
Yeah, we actually are just starting next month a follow-up book. I think we're going to call it Intentional Church. Kind of what is the why behind the what? How do you do church in such a way that it impacts and changes the world around you? So should be another one coming out here in a few months.
All right, we look forward to getting you back. Thanks, my friend.
Bless you, Perry.
God bless you.
So much.
All right, we'll be right back.